people have been since by our spring waters. Bath has the only naturally occurring hot spring waters around, and this is what attracted the Romans. They thought it was great to bathe in, and they built themselves a city with some baths, pretty much the centrepiece of it, in order to take advantage. In fact, Bath was the only city built in this country by the Romans that was a non-military city. It was not used for military purposes, it was a leisure resort, and it remained that way until they all left very suddenly in the year 410. And that year there was problems with the Roman Empire, and of course England is stuck at the cold northern top of the empire, and they were actually quite glad to get out of it, really. So they all disappeared and left us quietly festering away with the water coming in and flooding the buildings, and the buildings gradually collapsing until the Saxons arrived around about the year 600, something like that. And they built another city on top of the Roman city, which they originally called Manchester, by the way. Manchester is usually translated as meaning sick man's town. And that's because whereas the Romans had bathed in the water, the Saxons found it rather nice for drinking. They knew, as of course we must know, that our water has medicinal properties. It's full of health-giving minerals, so they tended to drink it. The name eventually changed to Bath, or Bath. If you call it Bath, that's the proper pronunciation, by the way. Bath is just what we ignorant Southern English people call it. So Bath is the correct name. And the Saxons were rather religious, and so they built an abbey. Actually a convent originally, but it became a Benedictine monastery. And it's quite important to our history here in Bath because it was where the very first king of all England was crowned. You'll notice all England. We had kings of England before then, but they weren't actually ruling the whole country. It was just the odd kingdom here and there that they were ruling. Edgar, so that was his name, King Edgar, was crowned in Bath Abbey on the 11th of May 973 as the first king of the whole country. Now if you wonder why Bath? I mean, we haven't had any coronations here before, we certainly haven't had any since. Well, Bath was deemed to be a very satisfactory place for this particular kind of ceremony because it was neutral. Bath is a border town. The river, the Avon on the left, is actually a boundary. You're actually sitting now in an ancient kingdom of Wessex. On the other side of the river is the ancient kingdom of Mercia. So Bath was actually a border town. It was deemed to be a neutral town. And also, thanks to the Romans, they had a